Okay, we're on again.
We're on. We're
And
in it.
inside it, and all over the place, as usual.
Yes.
So last time we were talking about dreams, and I think we ended with something connected to using dreams as a healing tool.
Mm-hmm.
And there are just so many different topics that could be related to this one, specifically the dream realm. Um, but maybe there's some basic um, ground to prepare before we dive into that. So I don't know. What do you think about discussing today of dream and kind of catching up with that topic, and then what do you feel like could be important to bring forth?
Yeah, I love that. Let's talk about what the practice would be for kind of setting the stage with yourself before you enter the dream space, like setting intentions, um, creating kind of a container, little safety bubble around yourself.
Okay, so we would today we would before diving into the multiple aspects of dream time and dream realm and how to consciously use it, we would get into the preparation
Mm-hmm.
for that. And why do you think that this is particularly important?
I think it's important because of the possibilities of almost like having a part of your consciousness roaming free in different levels and layers of reality, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's important to start um, strengthening your intention and your boundaries. It's almost like traveling.
Well, it is.
Yeah,
Absolutely, it is traveling.
right.
It is traveling. I mean, when we dream, we do travel. Maybe we could even do like a little side note on this, like what is dreaming?
Mm-hmm.
What is dreaming? Where do we go when we want to use it in a, as a traveler? And we want to do something with that. What happens?
Yeah.
Um,
So, as a traveler, how do you prepare for a trip?
right?
uh, most of the time, you're kind of checking in. Um, do you have everything you need? Maybe some people will take a minute and set the intention of, well, I hope the travel goes smoothly and safely. And some people call in their guides, some people call on other things. But it's basically, preparing to travel. Um, I always find it easier to relax into an experience when I feel prepared for the experience.
Yeah.
And I know some of my go-to things that make me feel prepared is making sure that I'm actively engaging with my personal field.
Like your body, for
Like,
example?
yep, like my body and where my body is and anything that's going to be around my body. So if I'm laying in bed at night and I'm getting ready to enter the dream space, I have a practice um, that I'm engaging with before I go. Sometimes it's setting an intention if there's something. We talked about using the dream space for healing. If there's something particularly in my waking life, maybe a repeated theme,
Hmm.
or something that I'm really trying to work through, I will connect to my higher self and I will ask for clarity on what that is in the dream space.
Hmm.
And I also envision, a lot of that preparation comes from envisioning what it is that you're doing. So my container would look like me claiming that the integrity of the space that I'm in be held in integrity while I rest and dream. And that to me is something that's really important, is clarifying what you want, what you expect of the space around you.
In which way? You mean in a way that um, you're setting up the travel plans or
Mm-hmm.
route or itinerary, or or more in a way of okay, I have my bags and I'm ready to dive. I don't know exactly where I'm going, but what kind of intention, is it something more connected to the destination or how to go there, or both?
May that's maybe it's more before you even experience takeoff.
Yeah.
Before you even experience takeoff, you expect that your guidance, your high self is setting up the space for you to not only be protected and grounded and shielded where you are,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
as your consciousness takes off into that other space,
Yeah.
there's no interference.
Yeah.
Everything is held within what's in your highest and best good and what's for you.
Yeah, and I feel like that's super important because um many times we're thinking about lucid dreams in a way that,
Mhm.
oh my god, that's so cool, I can dream and actually remember everything that's happening and control it and do a bunch of fun stuff and travel and blah blah blah. But if you don't put a certain intention, if you didn't prepare the settings as you're explaining, things can happen in a way that you couldn't predict, and that can be overwhelming. For
Mhm.
example, can I share something that happened to me uh, regarding the travel?
Oh yeah. Yes,
And one
please.
one of the wildest, maybe I won't say the wildest travel I had, because I had some, a bunch of them, right?
Mhm.
And I really had some crazy ones, but this one was a very important one because it was conscious and it was so real. And so let's start from the intention. I had the intention. So I had the desire of using it in a conscious way, of lifting out my body, remembering everything, and then using it. And I really wanted to get into the initiation of the whole process
Mm-hmm.
of traveling and dreams and etc. I felt like I was ready, but I did not have any guidance to anything. So it was purely intuitively,
Mm-hmm.
and I was choosing every single night before I went to bed. I was choosing the intention uh, to travel and to lift up my body and go
Yeah.
live some experience. But I was not choosing the experience.
Mm. You were
And
just open for it.
yeah, yeah. I was just, hey, I want to try, I really want to do this. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, that's so cool. Once I can do it, I will travel to Lemuria or Atlantis. And I was thinking that it was after I was lifting out that I would get to uh, master my destination and everything that would be happening. I didn't consider the very important part of this process, that is the work that comes before. So I was working with intention every night. I was affirming, I'm ready, I'm ready. I was feeling ready. I was like, I want to do this. And it took me like about a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then one day was I was in a it was some sort of online conference, and we had meditations and speakers talking about very interesting topics about Lemuria, I think. And in one of the meditations, it was, I don't remember the name of the person. It was a woman. She had like a 3 hours meditation with Pleiadian language. It was very powerful. And I remember, I don't know why, I just felt like, oh my God, I have to go and grab my crystals for this one.
Mm.
So I laid down and I took the heaviest and biggest crystals that I have. I took like four of them and I put them on certain chakras,
Mm-hmm.
on starting from the heart chakra until the root chakra. And I just left it there and I went on with the meditation.
Yeah.
And then I kind of fell asleep. But I wasn't really sleeping. I just went off.
Yeah.
And when I came back, and the meditation went going, it was a guided meditation, so the sound was going on and I was listening to it, but I went off. And when I came back to my body, I was feeling an activation going from my toes to my head.
Wow.
And it was like something l- literally pushed a button. You know, when you're like in a machine and then you just ignite it and you
Mm.
start it
Mm-hmm.
and you push the button and the whole thing goes, you have lights going up and down. Imagine like a spaceship and you're activating the spaceship with a button,
Yeah.
and once you push the button, you have all the lights going up and down telling that the engine is on. So I
Mm-hmm.
was feeling that in my body. It was going from my toes to my head, up and down, and so I started to feel it, and I freaked out.
Oh.
I was like, My first reaction was, it's been, I don't know, it had been like 1 month that I was asking every single night to travel. And when it finally comes, I freak out. I'm like, what? So I got back to myself and I calmed myself down, because that's what the first thing that I learned, that if you're not mastering your vessel as a, your physical body, if you don't feel comfortable and safe, you will not be able to travel. So
Mm-hmm.
I just calmed down and I was like, okay, I got this. I'm ready. I've been waiting for this. I can't believe I'm going to Lemuria. I was so sure I was going to Lemuria.
Love
And
it.
I took my breath back, and I calmed my body, and I allowed, and I actually affirmed it. I said it in my head. I allow it to happen. I
Mm.
want this, because as soon as I freaked out, it stopped.
Mm-hmm.
And so I understood that I had to be comfortable with the process in order to go with it. So
Yeah.
I calmed down. I said that I allowed it, and it came back. And I came back to that feeling of activation, the
Yeah.
vroom, 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 going from my toes to my head,
Yeah.
up and down. And then it took like 10 seconds. I started to feel my whole body lift up as I was levitating. I promise. It was not just a sensation from my head. I was feeling my whole body being lighter and lighter, and I was lifting. And once I got, I would say, I don't know, maybe um, half meter
Mm.
from my bed, from my couch. Actually, I was laying on my couch. My body got straight slowly. I really felt like a spaceship, when you,
Mm-hmm.
you imagine a spaceship lifting the ground, and then it kind of gets in a vertical way and then it goes very fast.
Yeah.
It was the exact same thing with my body. So my whole body got straight up. Then I felt like a hand on my chest
Wow.
holding me.
Wow.
And I got into a tunnel of light that was so fast that I was like, oh my God, how's I call that movie? Interstellar.
Oh, wow.
I was like, oh my God, I'm in Interstellar. That's amazing. And I was trying to remain calm and then leave the experience and everything, and not get too excited. But you know, I was handling all those emotions, and it was very fast. And then it stopped, and it
Mm.
was like the spaceship landing, but nothing was landing. It was just the tunnel. The speed was getting slower, and the hand was still on my chest.
Mm.
And when all the speed from the tunnel, I call it a tunnel, but I don't know what it was.
Mm-hmm.
When it stopped and I landed somewhere, I heard a voice that told me, now you can open your eyes.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
went, and I was ready. I was ready for Lemuria. I was like, come on, open arms. I'm gonna see islands and sea creatures, and it's gonna be amazing. And to my biggest surprise, I was anywhere but Lemuria. I got to my darkest place of trauma,
Oh my gosh.
and I'm not even going to describe it because it was really awful. But it was underground, and I was in some sort of prison, and I was basically being tortured, and I was going to.
Mm.
I was, it was like a place of torture. And we have to say now, I think it's important that that environment was the
Mm-hmm.
environment of trauma that was not literally happening from one perspective,
Yeah.
but from another perspective it was, because it was the trauma that was still living in my body.
Yeah.
So just people don't think that, that you can travel and go to hell. I mean,
Right.
we
Right.
can go to our own personal hells if the hell is not healed, so to
Mm-hmm.
speak. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I wanted to share this travel. So I found myself there, and my first reaction was that I was so angry with my higher self. I was like, really? All that, and I end up in this place. This is so not fair. But it only took a second, because my second reaction was, how do I leave this place? How do I
Yeah.
get out of here?
Yeah.
And I felt stuck. But my reaction there, because there was a person that was about to torture me, my second reaction was to say no.
Yeah.
So I said no. Now you don't get to do it.
Mm.
I'm gonna fight. I don't know how I get out of here.
Yeah.
I'll do whatever I have to, but you are not touching me this time.
Right.
And I said no, but I was still stuck. And I was a bit scary, if I have to be honest,
Right.
because it was a very nasty place. So I just didn't know what to do, and I asked for help. I I said, get me out of here, get me out of here. And the third time, help me get me out of here now. And boom,
Mm.
I was back to my body. So I opened my eyes, and I was like, what the heck just happened? And I touched my crystals, and they were on fire.
Mm.
They were so hot.
Yeah.
And the feeling that I had, that they were grounding my body,
Yeah.
and it had to be the heavy ones, because they were like pulling me down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And intuitively, I needed their technology organically to help me,
Right.
and it was very very helpful. But it was all intuitively
Right.
happening. I mean, if I didn't have a path that took me to be able to even have that intuition, I could have been in trouble.
Yeah.
Because once you get to those realms, if you do not choose to get out, no one can just take you out of there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not saying that you're going to be stuck there forever,
Yeah.
but there can be, leftovers to take care afterwards, energetically speaking.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so this is just to confirm the absolute importance of preparing before you go.
Mm-hmm.
And for me it was super important, for two reasons mainly. One, to teach me that I was actually not ready, even
Mm.
though I thought I was. And it showed me that there was more in the initiation process that I had to master before I go to that level of exploration.
Yeah.
And second thing that was very important, that probably my higher self said, okay, she's not ready, but she's very decided to do it, so let's make it useful. And instead of just taking her to any uh, useless dark space because she didn't protect herself before she went on,
Yeah.
let's just take her to something that where she will be able to find closure.
Yeah.
And it's only to add the thing that even when it goes wrong, it can still goes right. But we do have to put intention and to give attention to the process of
Mm-hmm.
before getting there. There's there's preparation on trauma, um,
Mm-hmm.
that is stuck in the body, because then it will just be there vibrating. Once you get out in the travel, it's all around you. There's no wall or separation. Everything is there, and it's so sensitive.
Mm-hmm.
And if you are to master it, you have to uh, work on your space. And by space, it's not even just the room you're at, it is also your room,
It's your room and beyond, wouldn't you
but it's
say?
beyond. Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So,
And I
yeah,
just love the commitment you had though to the practice, because I think that it does take time. I mean, in this one experience that you were practicing on it for, did you say a month?
yeah.
Like a month beforehand. That's
Yeah.
how many nights are in a month? Like every night you went
Every
to,
night. Yeah.
you went to bed and you held an intention because you just decided that you were going to dig in and
Mm.
explore, more of yourself and what's available to you.
Yeah.
And I love it that when you got to that space, even in that dark, unexpected place, I mean, you were holding a completely different vision in your mind and in your heart of where you thought you were going to go. But it really goes to show, I feel like, the payoff of that practice, because you opened your eyes and you were in that trauma,
Yeah.
and you wanted to get out of it, but not before you had the chance to kind of take back your power from it.
Yeah.
And I think more and more opportunities like that, more times that you can face in that safe space, because you created the safety in that travel. You didn't end up where you expected to end up, but it was still safe enough for you to be able to say no to the trauma and the pain that was trying to take hold again, and then leave.
And
Like,
then leave.
I'm going to leave, but it's going to be because I'm choosing to leave.
Absolutely.
I love it.
But it really shows that we have to be careful
Mm-hmm.
with that tool, because it's very powerful. It can be very powerful. Dreaming, I mean, accessing dream time consciously is the same thing as time traveling.
Exactly.
And this is also something that I learned, because I used to think that time traveling was just, the whole astral traveling, when you consciously lift out and back of your body, and but when you turns out, when you have those kinds of experiences, you're I think you're even a little bit more limited,
Mm-hmm.
because you're gonna be out there, but you're gonna be in a place that crosses this dimension, the third one, and the fourth.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do it in dream time, there's something about what your consciousness can reach in that, um I don't know if it's beta, alpha, or whatever brainwave we find ourselves in when
Mm-hmm.
we sleep.
Mm-hmm.
But there's something connected to this that can take you a lot, more far away. And by far, I'm saying it can be really crazy things. It can be, you can be in 4D, you can be in other dimensions, you can be in other planets. I mean, a part of your consciousness goes there and comes back to your body.
Mm-hmm.
So, because you can be everywhere, because the possibilities are so much um, are wider, then you have to be more careful,
Mm-hmm.
because out there it doesn't make any difference, the above and the below. It's
Mm-hmm.
pretty much the same thing. It's only what you're carrying within yourself that will dictate your itinerary, basically. So if you didn't prepare it before, you can find yourself in a place that you really either don't want to be or are not prepared to be. Because in my case, I was prepared to face my trauma
Yeah.
because I had done a lot of work on that before.
Right.
But imagine that happened, I don't know, even 3 years before that.
Right.
That could have broke me.
Yeah.
So the whole preparation you're talking about is super important. And then it takes me to the question, what could we do if, for example, for someone that is just starting to connect with this realm and is wishing to be, I mean, it's desiring an initiation from their higher selves and guides. What's the path to get there safely?
Yeah, for sure. I think we should explore that some more next time too, because I really feel like the integrity of the connection that you have with yourself and the intention that you're setting can really be very potent in setting up your space.
Yeah, and maybe in between we could come up with a few exercises, for example, um, let's say a meditation
Mm-hmm.
uh, that could help people with the process of, um, let's say, getting their bodies and consciousness comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with this intention. I mean, you're
Mm-hmm.
not even yet in the intention,
Right.
at the uh, you're not even reached. Let's imagine that for something that is not even yet at the moment where they're just about to leave and travel,
Mm-hmm.
but they're starting to connect with that desire and just don't know what to do and don't want to find themselves in trouble, but want to smoothly start a work on preparing their bodies and consciousness and um yeah, to feel more comfortable
Mm-hmm.
with the path of getting there.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that it can be fun.
Absolutely.
It can feel good. Like sometimes I'm excited for my little ritual that I do beforehand, um, getting myself comfortable to slip into, a different brainwave that I've been engaged with during my waking day. Um, I have a few little stretches that I do that really relax my body,
Hmm.
and that just sets the stage for me slipping into that next juicy brainwave where everything just tones down, chills out.
Yeah, yeah. Because you have to say it, right? I mean, I told a very a not very fun experience that I had, but it was that allowed me. to learn a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But there was other times where it was super fun, and it only got better after that. And I'm not even gonna say that I don't go back to darker places, but I go there for other reasons.
Would you say that you go there feeling more prepared now after?
A lot more prepared
Yeah,
and
yeah.
ready and confident because I've
Yes,
been through
competent. Yeah,
the phases,
right.
of feeling that way. Um, it's like, if you're gonna cross a river and you don't know the depth of the river,
Mm-hmm.
you're gonna be very stressed, right? Because you better know how to swim. If you can't put your feet, if you can't reach the ground, the bottom of the river.
Yeah,
But if you do know that there are parts of it that you can, stand up, and then others that you can swim, you will feel more confident about the crossing.
yeah.
So this is what it is about, that whole preparation process. And um, I think it it starts with getting comfortable with the feelings and what it the sensations that can come to the body.
I think the sensations is a really interesting topic too, and your metaphor of crossing, the water and not knowing the depth, and it's it's making me recall a very interesting dream I've had recently where I almost realized that instead of me thinking that I was training during my waking day, I was training for my dream time. I was in dream time realizing that my dream time was actually training me for my waking day. So
That's
so maybe we can get into
Isn't
that
that
next
amazing?
time. Yeah. Thank you for sharing that experience with us though, Isa.
Oh, it's my pleasure. I have a lot more to share, and I think you have some good stuff uh, to come up, right? But let's go it slowly.
Yeah, yeah.
And what do you think about that meditation idea? Can we come up with something to help, with getting the bodies comfortable, and uh, that could help with the preparation settings to come?
Yeah, I think so. I think we could do that.
Awesome. So everyone stay tuned, because they'll probably follow up very soon. And always glad to have you here.
Yeah, you too.